fact, another day dawning of heartbreak for half-term holidaymakers, yet again facing cancellations, unbelievable queues that just seem to go on and on and on, and instant delays at airports right across the country.
And with just weeks to go until the summer holiday season kicks off, just how worried should we be about our travel plans? We're joined now by travel expert Simon Calder, also Head of Aviation Recruitment Network, Kali Santu. Good morning. Thanks for joining us this morning. Simon, we've been appealing for people's questions all morning, so obviously we've got a lot of these to get through. So should we kick straight off with these so we can try and help people with their situations? We mentioned before Leanne, who's got in touch. They checked in for their flight on time, but the security line was so long they missed it. They had to buy a new flight with a different airline. EasyJet said because they checked in, they wouldn't refund the flights, even though they missed them through no fault of their own. What can they do? Do they have any rights? OK,
let's imagine this situation. You have checked in, and so it's not a hold-up at the airline with their staff not taking your bags or anything. So you get in the security line, you're there for 2 hours and you miss your flight. The airline, quite legally, can say, nothing to do with us. You know, we checked you in. The fact that you couldn't get through security is the airport's problem and not ours. Now, many passengers are going to find that their airline is actually very flexible, and they say, look, we got another flight tonight, we'll put you on that, we won't charge you. But that is not your legal entitlement. It's very, very tricky because you don't have a direct contract with the airport, or even though you're passing through it. However, the legal advice I've taken is that if you can demonstrate that the airport wasn't able to deliver a suitable service and you missed that, then you can claim. The absolute backstop is travel insurance, but that is your last resort.
You shouldn't have to do that. All right, let's take this one from Tracy. This is a typical question. She says, hi everyone, we're due to fly to Sardinia next Thursday, that's the 9th. EasyJet has just cancelled the holiday, they have no flights available. Should I just search for a new package with a different airline myself and hope that a refund comes down the line soon? Or should they be the ones to find me a new package? And are we entitled to compensation?
Right, compensation first. If it was cancelled 2 weeks or less beforehand, then yes, you are entitled to £350 compensation, I believe, for that length of flight.
Right, so she is.
However, oddly enough, if you're flying to the south of the island, to Cagliari, you would be. If you're flying to Olbia in the north, you won't. It's 220 in that case. But that's if they haven't given you 2 weeks warning. In terms of what they need to do for you, frankly, I would, at this point, be looking to see what holiday you could book for a week on Thursday, because there's going to be loads around as soon as we get past.
So she should look herself rather than expecting them to look for.
Well, I mean, she can look for an EasyJet holiday, but there's also very good holidays available with TUI, with Jet2 and many other operators. So I would just simply pick the holiday that is best for you. Clearly, EasyJet have specific problems in terms of the cancellations they're making, but frankly, so have TUI. They've just
yes.
So keep going, but it is going to be much, much easier from next week onwards for pretty much the rest of June for anybody who wants to book a late notice holiday.
OK, I'm going to tie a couple together because, a lot of people are worried about things they've got booked and whether the flight will be cancelled. Catherine says we're flying to Rhodes on Saturday for our daughter's wedding.
Oh, lovely.
What should we and the bride and groom if the flights are cancelled? The wedding was already postponed from last year. They're worried. And also Ivy is flying from Gatwick to Rome to connect with a booked cruise. If the flight's cancelled at the last moment, I can't join the ship. What on earth can I do? I've checked and the weekly flight was cancelled this week. So for those people who are sort of wanting to go out for specific things like that, what's the advice? OK, well, let's take the wedding first of all. Going to Rhodes this weekend, I don't think is going to be any problem at all, even if individual flights are cancelled. And bear in mind that even EasyJet is only cancelling 1 in 40 of its departures, which is extremely regrettable if you happen to be on one of those. But there's still lots of flights going. So actually just a small proportion.
And the demand for seats from this weekend onwards is going to be much lower because of the half-term and the Jubilee weekend will be over. So I would be absolutely relaxed about that, bearing in mind that the airline has to buy you a seat on another airline if it does cancel. In terms of that, so that's a cruise, and going to Rome and not having very much time to between the plane landing and the flight and the ship sailing, I would always, in any cruise situation, always get a flight the day before. I know it's a bit late, but I would be looking to see if the airline might possibly let you shift a day earlier because of
stay in a hotel for the night.
And then you just stay. What's not to like about a night in a hotel in Rome?
Right. OK, this is a quick one from Tiffany. This is basically the can we throw money at the problem question. Yeah. She says, I've got a 6 a.m. flight next week at Bristol Airport with 2 small children in tow. Would you recommend, Simon, paying extra for fast track to avoid queues through security? Will it, with all these people there, will it make any difference?
I personally wouldn't, not with kids, because Bristol and many other airports have special family lanes where if you've got young children, they will generally whisk you through. And anybody who's stuck in a queue, and Bristol hasn't been too bad for airport queues. There's been large-scale problems in terms of cancellations, but they've been airline-related. Look, if you've got a 6 a.m. flight, so you're probably going to get there at 3, which is pretty horrible. If by 5 o'clock you're still in the security lane, you then start making a serious fuss because there will be other people who've got flights at 9 o'clock in the morning who are just there.
And what if you're travelling without? Suppose it was just me on my own. Would it be worth me spending a bit of money on a fast-track service?
Yes. I mean, if it's an anxiety for you, I would say spend, well, it's anywhere between £4 and £7 for fast track. So you could do that. It does make a difference. Bear in mind that it also sells out. So kind of start thinking now, because obviously if everybody bought fast track, it wouldn't be fast at all.
No, that's a good point. OK, well, let's go over to Head of Aviation Recruitment Network, Kali Santu. Thanks for joining us this morning. And so just explain from your point of view then why this has happened, why it's all suddenly come to a head at the moment.
Good morning. Well, the biggest problem we've had is March the 18th, the government relaxed all rules regarding travel to and from UK airports. And so quite simply, the industry just had enough time to actually go out to the marketplace and recruit the large volumes of individuals that the industry requires. If you can imagine, aviation was one of those industries that was hit with COVID, just as hospitality was. And with the amount of checks and the amount of recruitment processes that we have to do within the industry, we just haven't simply had the time to go out to the marketplace and recruit the volumes the airports require.
No, I mean,
from your perspective, when do you think it might start to get better?
It's getting better. I've certainly, from when I started recruiting in January, February onwards, we've put a large volume of individuals into the airport infrastructure. But the problem we're actually seeing is there are too many vacancies and too much choice for candidates, and we are experiencing high volumes of no-shows for interviews. Candidates are not bothering turning up for interviews. When they do turn up for interviews and there are job offers, they have several job offers and they can pick and choose which jobs they want to work.
So the trouble is, it's going to take a while to get the number of staff back up to where it should be, isn't it? Is it going to be back on track for summer? I mean, are we going to see months and months of these kind of delays and cancellations?
Well, I've been advising my clients that we should really take this year as year one for the aviation industry in terms of recovery. When we get to the last quarter, we should then look at the amount of vacancies that we actually had within the industry and where we were pre-COVID, and then look at ways in which companies can continue to actually make their vacancies more appealing. Okay. I myself have struggled with finding individuals for my industry, myself as well. It takes anything up to 3 to 6 months to train a recruitment consultant to actually know all the rules and regulations and the recruitment expertise required to actually go out to the marketplace and recruit for our customers. So it's definitely been challenging. People also seem to forget that when there are large-scale redundancies or something like COVID, the first areas that are affected are recruitment and training. And a lot of these employers let go of highly skilled, talented individuals, not just in recruitment, not just in training, but certainly within front-facing customer service roles that have been snapped up by non-airport companies.
Yeah, all right. Thank you for that. Very quickly, Simon, before we leave this, we've had statements from Bristol Airport. They're apologising for these queues, but they're saying that over 80% of customers are only queuing for about 20 minutes or less. Gatwick Airport have told us that people should arrive at the airport 3 hours ahead of their flight. TUI said it's doing everything it can.
Manchester Airport says it's working with senior management teams of the relevant airlines and ground handlers to fix the issue. I mean, what's your assessment of how we heard from Kali there about how long it's going to take for things to get back on track? What's summer going to look like?
Well, it's going to get much better from Monday onwards. I can be absolutely sure of that because there will be fewer people flying in and out. We still don't know how July and August is going to look, but clearly the airlines and the airports are losing a fortune financially. Just EasyJet's cancellations this week are going to cost it £10 million in cash compensation. Wow. And that's leaving aside buying tickets on other airlines, putting people up in hotels. So they've got a really strong incentive to start throwing money at the problem, and I hope that they will be throwing it in sufficient quantities to get people working the hours in a very difficult, high-stress environment to get people where they need to be. And please, I know it's really awful, particularly when your flight's delayed and you've been queuing for hours.
No.
Those frontline staff, they are on your side. They want you to get where you need
our
to
help.
be.
Yeah.
And so please be kind.
That's an important point to make.
Well, if you're
Simon,
flying in the next between now and Monday, our thoughts and prayers are with you. The very, very best of luck.
That you get there.
Yeah.
And thanks very much also to Kali Santu for joining us this morning with that.
And sterling work, Simon. Thank you. You've been really useful this morning. Thanks a lot.
Great to answer people's questions. Thanks for getting in touch.